Welcome to a SapphireOne introduction on rostering and locations within the SapphireOne payroll. If we select the menu or the mode button up in the top right hand corner of our menu here, and we go down to payroll, we select payroll, and we're presented with a series of drop downs. Payroll, reports, administration, roster. We're going to be talking in this video about the location and the scheduler and the employee. If we go into the roster and we select the location, in this case we're presented with two locations. We've got one location which is Sydney location and another location which is called Bondi. What I'm going to do is go in and modify the Sydney location. The Sydney location has an ID. Now that ID is an alphanumeric. You can create that to be whatever you like. In this case, we've just made it simple. It's 0. And then we've got a name. In this case, it's Sydney location. You've got a company that it's linked to. And again, we've used 0 for that company ID. The department, we've used 0. And the contact, we've got AK. We've got a phone number for that particular location. And we've got a physical address. We've also got the coordinates, so you can get location and have the coordinates there with part of the physical address. We've then got the ability to click on notes, so we can go into the notes and add notes. And then we've got the start day. In this case, we're going to set the start day to a Monday, and we're going to set the finish day as a Friday. We're going to say the opening times are from 8:30 a.m. till 6 p.m. And then we're going to say that the shift hours for this particular location is 8 and the break is 30 minutes. We can then go and put an area, and in this case we're going to have a cashier and the activity. So the particular activity that links to cashier. Now we may choose to link a particular employee to that activity and then link that employee to that location. So that employee is only available to do a particular role in a particular location. So that makes it simply when we do our rostering. We can also set a minimum staff. In this case, we've said we need minimum 2 staff. And we've got down below here, we've got the ability to have cashier staff and floor staff. So that's an introduction to the location. Now we look at setting up an employee for a particular roster. So within the SapphireOne payroll, we select payroll again within our drop-down menu. So we select our payroll HR. And then we go to administration and we select the employee. In this case, we're going to select the first employee on the list. And we're going to go to the top left-hand corner to the page menu drop-down. And we're going to select roster. In this particular case, we've set up this employee that they can physically work at 2 locations. So we've got location A and we've got location 0. We saw location 0 earlier. That was at 1 Macquarie Street in Sydney. And we've gone for this particular employee, we've said the maximum number of hours they can work in a working day is 8. The maximum number of hours for the week is 40. And then the maximum number of days in the week is 5. And then for that particular location 0, we've ticked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we've gone through and ticked these. So it's simply just a matter of ticking them. What that means is that once the employee is set up and the roster is set up, they're only going to be selectable Monday through Friday. If you elect not to tick any of those, that particular employee will be available for any roster on any day. So you can either define your employee and say they only can work on certain locations or certain days, or if you leave all those blank, then they're going to be able to be selected for all rosters and all days and all locations. And then we can select a particular activity. In this case, we've selected the activity is shop staff, and then the allowance is normal time, which will flow through to payroll. So as soon as you do the roster, that will update payroll for us, and we'll be able to process the pay all the way through to single touch payroll for our ATO compliance. And then we've got a rating in the bottom right hand corner. Once you rate the employee, and the example here is we've rated them as a 20. So for example, you may have an employee who has 20 years of service, and they may get a priority on the roster over someone who's only got 2 years employee. So the larger the number, the better their rating will be, so the more likelihood they'll get selected for a particular roster over someone that's got a lower rating. Now we're going to look at the roster, the scheduler within roster. So here we are in the payroll mode, and we're going to go over here and click on the roster, and we click on schedule. As soon as we select schedule, it'll bring up this particular screen. Now I've got a number of ways I can view the schedule. In this case, I've chosen the Sydney location, so I'm only looking at the Sydney location. And I've got the ability to view that by week. In this case, it's Monday through Friday, and you'll notice Saturday and Sunday are greyed out. The reason why they greyed out is that in the earlier roster, you notice that we said Monday to Friday was our working week for that particular location. So that's why Saturday and Sunday are greyed out, because we're not available to work on those days, or the business is not open, more to the point. And then if we go back to the schedule, we've also got the ability to have a day view. So we can go and look at that particular location for the day, and then we've also got the ability to go and look at it for a fortnight. So in that particular case, we've got Monday through Friday, the 8th through 12th, and then the 15th through the 19th, and with the greyed out weekends. If we go back to our week view, what we'd like to do is we haven't allocated Arnold to any particular rosters at this stage. So I'm going to go and add Arnold here, and all I have to do is drag Arnold across and green tick that, and then it'll go and add Arnold in there. Now you'll notice at this stage it's pink, so I haven't actually published that yet. So if I go right mouse click, and I've got the ability to, left mouse click, and I've got the ability to publish that. So once I publish that, that will then appear on the employee's iPhone. So the employee can log on to the SapphireOne web pack, the Sapphire web pack, look at the roster, and they'll be able to look at their own view for the particular day, which in this case is the 8th. Now I can do the same for Arnold. I can drag them into the 9th and do exactly the same again. And so it's in pink at the moment. Click on that and we can say publish that, and then it'll be published now on the iPhone for that particular employee. So when they log onto their iPhone, and we'll be covering this in a separate movie that you'll be able to view under the roster functionality within SapphireOne, and you can see how the employee will be able to view a particular roster for their particular employee. And we'll do the same again. So we'll drag that employee over, we'll green tick that, and then we'll go and click on that and we'll publish that. Now do have the ability here to look at the hours. So this particular employee, if we look at Bev Smith, Bev is costing us $20 per hour, and we've already scheduled 21.5 hours for the week for Bev Smith, and it's giving us a total of $430 gross for the week for that particular employee. So this particular roster view gives us a running total of how many hours they're going to be working for the week, and then a total dollars, gross dollars for that particular employee for that particular week or day or fortnight, however you choose to view that. Now, the advantage that gives us is obviously a number of advantages. Things like if you've got a employee that's on a student visa and they may be limited to 20 hours a week, then we can go and set that inside the employee file and say the maximum they can work is 20 hours per week. And then, of course, we've got the different views here. Now, we've also got the ability to click on actions, and we can reload that. And here we can go and click on area day. So if we go and look at area day, we can go and look at a particular area for the day, and then we've got area week, and then we've got area fortnight. So that's looking at it for a particular area. Now the area in this case is, as we saw earlier, we had cashier and we had floor staff. So up in the top left hand corner here, we've got cashier. So those staff that are assigned to work on that particular day as cashiers, and then those staff that are assigned to work on a particular day as floor staff. So that's what the area drop down gives us there. And we've got an area by day, We've got an area by week, and we've got an area by fortnight. And then over here in the top right-hand corner, we have the ability to fill empty shifts with open status. So I can go through and fill those empty shifts. I've also got the ability to fill the shifts with the lowest cost employees. So if I wanted to say, fill that shift with the lowest cost employees, I could go and do that. And then I could publish that. So I could say, publish that, and that'll publish it out to the employee. And then the last one here on the list was to copy the shifts from last week. So I've got the ability to go and copy the shifts from last week, and it'll go and bring those shifts over from last week. So thank you for taking the time to watch the SapphireOne scheduler.